The 2026 FIFA World Cup is the biggest World Cup ever, and somehow most football fans still don't understand how it actually works. There are 48 teams now instead of 32. There are more matches, more countries, more stadiums, and somehow the tournament is supposed to be easier to follow. Yeah, about that. If you've looked at the new format and immediately felt confused, you're not alone, because the 2026 World Cup changed some of the biggest rules we've seen in decades. But don't worry, in the next few minutes, I'll explain the entire tournament format so simply that you'll never be confused by it again. And there's one change near the end that could completely change who reaches the final. Let's break it down. First, the big change. For years, the World Cup had 32 teams. Simple, 8 groups, 4 teams per group. The top 2 teams advanced. Done. But FIFA looked at that format and said, what if we made it much bigger? So now there are 48 teams. That's 16 extra countries, an entire extra half of a World Cup. Good news for smaller nations. Bad news for anyone trying to understand the tournament in one glance. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite adding 16 teams, FIFA still wanted the tournament to feel familiar, and that's where the new structure comes in. Next, the groups. The 48 teams are divided into 12 groups. Each group has 4 teams. That part sounds simple. It isn't, because now there are 12 groups instead of 8. Each team still plays 3 matches, one against every other team in its group. Win a match and get 3 points. Draw and get 1. Lose and get nothing. Football remains brutally honest. After those 3 matches, teams are ranked by points. So far, everything looks normal. But now comes the confusing part. Who actually advances? In the old format, the top 2 teams from each group moved on. Easy. Now the top 2 teams still qualify. But that's not enough, because 12 groups create 24 qualified teams. 24 is a weird number for a knockout tournament. You know the type. It's like inviting 24 people to a party designed for 32. Something doesn't fit. So FIFA came up with a solution. The top 2 teams from each group advance, that's 24 teams. Then the 8 best third-place teams also qualify. Now we have 32 teams. And suddenly the math works again. This sounds simple, it isn't. Because teams aren't just competing against their own group anymore, they're also competing against third-place teams from completely different groups. So every goal matters, every yellow card can matter. And yes, fans will definitely be pulling out calculators by the final group matches, the knockout stage. Once the group stage ends, the tournament becomes much easier to understand. 32 teams remain, then it's straight knockout football. Round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, final. Lose once and you're out. No second chances, no safety net. No, we'll get them next week. One bad day and you're booking flights home. Honestly, that's part of what makes the World Cup so addictive. The best third-place teams. Let's talk about the sneaky rule that could change everything. The 8 best third-place teams advance. In theory, this rewards teams that were unlucky in tough groups. In practice, it means some teams can survive without having an amazing group stage. A country could finish third and still make a deep tournament run. And once knockout football starts, strange things happen. Underdogs suddenly become dangerous, favorites start feeling pressure, and chaos becomes part of the entertainment. Personally, this might be one of the most interesting parts of the new format. More teams means more surprises, and football fans love surprises unless their team is the one getting surprised. Why FIFA did this? So why expand the tournament at all? Simple. More countries get a chance to participate. More fans become invested. More regions are represented. And more nations get the opportunity to experience the World Cup. From FIFA's perspective, that's a huge win. Of course, critics argue there could be more mismatches. Some games might be less competitive. That's a fair concern. But FIFA believes the benefits outweigh the risks. And honestly, we'll only know for sure once the tournament begins. The hidden effect. Here's something many people haven't realized. With more teams and more matches, the road to the trophy gets longer. The eventual champion must survive a larger field than ever before. More opponents. More pressure, more opportunities for something unexpected to happen. A red card, an upset, a penalty shootout. Football has a funny habit of creating drama when you least expect it, and the 2026 format gives it even more chances to do exactly that. So let's go back to the original question. Does the 2026 World Cup format make sense?